Okay. Generic, Untitled Beatles, unscripted, uncut, raw. 3, 2, 1.
Untitled Beatles Podcast.
TJ, man, I have been a busy beaver and a crafty beaver. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I like both those stores. There is a crafty beaver in the greater Chicagoland area, Lawrence.
Yeah, in fact, I bought a little piece for my ratchet so I could work on my car because I'm a grease monkey, TJ.
That funky monkey. What kind of monkey are you?
I won't say it.
I just bought, for no apparent reason, a super high master Japanese pressing of the Grease CD. I went on a Stone Grease rabbit hole. And it'd been remastered like once, but it was like shitty 90s remastering. I thought this one might be better. I can't tell if it is, but I make no apologies. I still love that soundtrack to Grease, which has Peter Frampton on it.
Oh, what does Peter Frampton do on the Grease soundtrack?
I think he does the guitar solo in the title track.
Oh. Yeah, you know, he played the guitar on John Entwistle's Whistle Rhymes record, and he does a great solo on it. And that's one of those records at this writing that's still not streaming. Those first two John Entwistle records are great.
There's a bunch of random stuff. Like, I'm not a Styx fan, but I've got a very weird affinity for the 1984 Tommy Shaw song, Girls with Guns.
Wow, that surprises me, TJ.
I know, me too. My 10 or 11-year-old brain really just loved that song. It's a great, bad 80s classic rock song.
And that's a film reference, I think, right? It was something like, all your movie needs is a girl and a gun, or something like that. It's like a noir thing.
Patricia Franchini. Vous savez, le garçon vous cherchez. Je viens de le voir.
Lights, camera, action!
Well, welcome to the Untitled Beatles Podcast.
Is it rolling, Bob?
Is it rolling, Bob?
This is kind of a bonus hodgepodge. You know what? Life has gotten busy, TJ, at least for me. I know you're a busy cat too, man. Yeah, man.
I've not been playing a lot of piano lately. Maybe I'll just, everything you say to me, I'll respond with the All in the Family theme.
Okay, I'm game to play that, because this show, it's like a second family to me, TJ. You're like the brother I never had, the mother I never had, the father I never had. You're like the basket I was left in on the stoop of that convenience store back in the mid-70s.
How come they couldn't keep Annie White? Remember that bullshit from a couple of years ago when NBC did Annie with a black actress playing Annie, and it was, how did they take a classic and make it different?
Yeah, people get outraged about change.
It's a hard knock life.
Also, I thought you said Andy White.
Why didn't they make Andy White the permanent drummer?
Hot take.
It's a hard knock life.
I stopped listening to the Beatles after they stopped recording with Tony Sheridan. I like my favorite Beatles songs. Take some insurance out of me, baby.
You got some insurance on you, baby. Ooh, some goddamn insurance on you, baby. If you ever have to see me by, I'm gonna home, right home, and
Well, we just wanted to say thank you for listening. Things have been busy. We don't have an official episode today, but what can we just riff a Beatle about so we can make this about the Beatles, TJ?
Improvise Beatles, give us a suggestion, and we'll say things about the Beatles.
Dude, I thought he was in a band. I didn't know this was going to be like an improv show.
Let's talk about the possible topics that maybe we're looking forward to doing. How about that? How about some kind of a squeezy teasy thing?
Let's do a squeezy teasy show. That's my favorite song from Pipes of Peace. Underrated record. We should do a Pipes of Peace album review. We should do a deep dish on the Leftover to Tug of War, because a lot of Pipes of Peace were songs that George Martin said weren't good enough to be on Tug of War.
What good is butter if you haven't got bread? What good is art when it hurts your head? Might as well be in bed. Keep undercover till the battle is ceased. Keep out of trouble till the prisoners are released.
I mean, it's like his Milk and Honey, wouldn't you say?
No, because I think Milk and Honey is, I don't want to say better than Double Fantasy, because God knows I love watching The Wheels and Beautiful Boy and Starting Over. But
Yeah, and Woman, too.
And Woman. But, I mean, Nobody Told Me is unfinished.
Yeah,
the
for
whole
Ringo.
Do. Those were things John was still going to finish. And that song is still brilliant.
Yeah.
That's an unfinished Lennon song, and it's still a classic. Grow Old With Me. Of course, now we're more familiar with the George Martin scored version from the Lennon anthology.
Right.
But the original from Milk and Honey, I'm Stepping Out.
Yeah, I like Stepping Out a lot.
I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out.
I love Milk and Honey, and not to be confused with the equally great Steppin' Out song by Joe Jackson.
Oh, from the same
from
era.
82's Night and Day, yeah.
Now, the mist across the window hides the light, but nothing hides the color of the lights that shine. Electricity so fine, look and dry your eyes.
We did talk about doing US/worldwide Beatles singles and single oddities, that kind of a thing. We talked about doing solo B-sides. Oh, and that's right. Remember you mentioned when we were talking about rarities and stuff, the unreleased Sessions album.
Yeah, Sessions with Leave My Kitten Alone. I think Not Guilty was going to be in that. Maybe that means a lot. Basically, proto-anthology was Sessions.
Yeah.
It's so weird that Capitol kind of killed that. I don't know. Maybe we got to consult our Bruce Spicer books, but I don't know why Sessions was canceled. It could not have been Capitol, who was starving for Beatle product in the 80s. It must have been the Beatles company. That's when they were solving all the Apple lawsuits, because Apple as a label finally came back around the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I had heard that it was all the Beatles, but even the Lennon estate was like, nope, not interested in that. So, well, we'll save it for we'll do a deep dish on that and get you some more info on that. My friend Greg Norman, he's an engineer at Electrical Audio.
The shark? The golfer?
Legendary golfer Greg Norman is giving golf carts a major upgrade. It's called the Shark Experience.
Same name as the golfer. No, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my other recording buddy, Sam Sneed.
The West Virginia hillbilly, who's made a fortune on the fairways for 25 years. The golfer's golfer, Slammin' Sammy Sneed.
And my other recording buddy, Kiki Rodriguez. Is he a golfer?
Winner of this week's Gulf Coast Golf Classic was Chai Chai Rodriguez. Chai Chai finished with a 9 under par score.
Chichi Rodriguez.
Hopefully, Mr. Rodriguez will play up to par in his next competition.
All these names are made up. Yeah, well, I got an engineer friend, Joe Stevenson.
What is his name?
Bert Harbinson. Bert Harbinson.
Bert Harbinson.
Right.
It sounds made up.
No, but he's a friend of mine, and yeah, it would be cool to get him on here to talk about his take on Get Back, you know, as from an engineer's point of view, you know.
Well, other people are okay, but like Clarence Clemmons and Jackson Browne said, Tony, you're a friend of mine.
All my life, you're a friend of mine.
Clarence Carter, woo, shit.
Oh,
Clarence
shit.
Carter is not Clarence Clemmons.
No, two different people. Clarence Carter was blind, and he had that song, what was that song?
Stroking?
She said, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter. Ooh, shit, Clarence Carter.
It was before Stroking. It was like, Mama. Oh, I got to look it up. It was Patches. I didn't have to look it up. Patches, you saved my world. Whatever it was.
Patches, I'm depending on you, son. I tried to do my best. It's up to you to do the rest.
What is that about?
Let's look it up. Here on the Untitled Clarence Carter podcast.
I know I mentioned Nixon a lot, but wasn't Nixon's dog named Patches?
Yeah, it's about him. Patches, I'm depending on you, son, to pull the family through.
You do a great Clarence Carter.
That was my Clarence Clemmons.
Whoops. Forgot about that.
I'm using the one microphone.
Clarence Clemmons, God bless him. Clarence Clemmons does a rap version of Quarter to Three on the first Ringo All-Star Band live album, where he raps the verses and sings, I dance till a quarter to three, but the verses are rapped by Clarence Clemmons.
It was a full moon Friday night. I was looking for something to do. So me and the K9 posse went cruising Love Avenue. I could tell by the look that they had in their eyes that all the boys need who was some love exercise. So I slid over the curb in my Mercedes AMG. I'm coming hot flash and started riding and say, what's happening on me? So did. Next thing I knew, we were pumping to the beat. We were all going crazy because we just rock and roll free. And I danced till a quarter to three.
So, I mean, that's the greatest thing about living through the 80s is that we got to experience that stuff, man. Even though I've never heard that, we got to experience that.
Yeah, because even if you didn't hear it, you still got to experience it. That's the beauty of 80s grossness.
Other episodes we're thinking about doing, Beatle novelty songs, you know, those Chipmunks records, and I Want a Beatle for Christmas and all that.
Terry Hammett usually plays one of the 2-hole on Breakfast with the Beatles. It's either a cover. Oh, good. Hey, System of a Down's doing Wait.
Wait till I come back to your side. We'll forget the tears we cried.
Or it's a Beatles novelty song.
Ooh, Zach De La Rocha, Screaming Blackbird. Beatle guest spots on other artists' songs. You know, things like Harrison playing on Cream's Badge.
I was going to say Belinda Carlisle's
oh, yeah.
Darling, Leave a Light On for Me. Love Belinda Carlisle. Early and Forever Crush.
Baby, that's too hard. Baby, that's too hard. Baby, that's too hard.
Yeah, man. And she was like part of that punk rock scene and all that too. Like she hung out with the Germs and like actual like scary punk rock bands where people died in them and stuff like that.
I'm hanging out with the Germs so I can get COVID and tell everybody I have it. Now, you know, we talk a lot of Beatles on the show, and, you know, Tony, maybe we stop.
Yeah, we stop and smell the roses, like Ringo suggested.
Can't fight lightning. All dried up. I'm all dried up. Till my heart fill my cup. Rack my brain. George wrote that for him.
Oh.
Rack my brain. Rack my brain. Till my head's filled with pain. Rack my brain.
Yeah, George wrote Rack My Brain, and Paul wrote Private Property.
Yes.
Which is like 90% horn solo. Ba-ba-ba-bum-ba-bum.
Yeah, man.
What's a Beatles thing that you know a ton about that you know I know less about, group or solo, that
Whoa.
you want to hip me to?
Whoa,
and then I'll
man.
tell you what I want to hip you to. And you give yourself
That's on
away.
the spot, man. I don't know if I know anything more. Let me think. I guess here's what I would know maybe a little bit more now at this writing would be maybe some details from their early years since I've been reading that book, Mark Lewison's Tune In book. You know, for instance, Ringo's grandmother fancied herself a witch and attempted to exorcise Ringo's left-handedness. Did you know that?
I didn't, but I do know this. I told the Dingle Witch to leave Ringo alone. Beatles novelty songs with Terry Hebert. Ooh-ee, Dingle Witch, ooh-ee, dingle-dingle.
And then that other when the Jetsons did the Beatles song, and it was John, Paul, George, Ringo. That was supposed to be eep op or that was supposed to be eep op or got a little stretchy on that.
That means I love you.
Do you remember the Flintstones version? So let the sun shine in.
Number one Beatles song on Spotify.
With a grin, open up your heart. You know a sign that I'm old? Anytime, you know, I play organ at the Chicago Magic Lounge quite a bit. And the wonderful MC of that room, a brilliant magician and comedic actress named Jan Rose, talks about everybody's birthday and, you know, special celebrations. Whenever, tell me if you get this, Tony, whenever she mentions, oh, and at this table here, it's this couple's anniversary, I do this.
Oh, yeah. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Because then Fred goes, all right, knock it off.
Yeah, and it's one of those bits they keep going into it.
Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Pour a cheerful toast and fill it, happy anniversary. But be careful you don't spill it, happy anniversary.
But I think we're too old. I feel like nobody in the room gets it.
No, because they took the Flintstones off of syndication way back when. Like, that's something we saw as kids growing up, which was, you know, at least a decade before our time. Flintstones was like in the 60s, right? Yeah. Like early 60s.
We were literally Flintstone kids.
We're Flintstones kids. 10 million strong and grown.
What's your favorite Flintstone vitamin? I almost put this on the Beatles, the fifth Beatle, on the fifth Beatle March Madness thing that's either coming up or we did it already. I had two options that didn't make it in. One was the Austin J4 minibus, that was their Hamburg van, and then the Commer touring van that was covered in graffiti, because I was influenced by Fred's car, which was one of the Flintstones vitamins.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's no Betty Rubble, but you get Fred's car, like the most attractive Flintstones character, like Betty Rubble. Or you might be more of a Wilma guy since you like the redheads.
I do like Wilma, but what I loved about Fred's car was the great Tracy Chapman song of the same name.
Oh.
You drive a Fred's car. Betty and Wilma gonna get out of here. Maybe a job in the suburbs. Nobody told me that Barney. Well, we can't use half of these jokes. We've made our own Christmas record, is what we've done here, thanking our fans.
Now, hold
telling
on.
them what's coming up.
You still have to school me on something about the Beatles you know more than I do about.
The only Beatles things I know more about than you, because I was such a breathless wonder. Breathless wonder, you, breathless wonder, you. Great Bowie song.
Little wonder then, little wonder, you little wonder, you.
Solo 80s obscure McCartney, like when Terry Hammond and Breakfast of the Beatles played Once Upon a Long Ago, which has still never been released in the United States of America, not on CD, 45, streaming.
Oh, so
there is no official. You can only get it on the British and maybe Canadian All the Best. But they didn't include it in the States because Paul was pissed at Capitol for not promoting Press to Play more. So he withheld a new McCartney song from the Greatest Hits album that Capitol released in 87.
Once upon a long ago, children searched for treasure. Nature's plan went hand in hand with pleasure, such pleasure.
Chess.
Yeah, that's exactly the musical written by ABBA. One night in Bangkok,
Love that song.
oyster.
I heard that song on the radio when it was current, and I taped it off the radio because I'd never heard anything like that in my life. And I was,
I loved it too.
Yeah, I thought it was. I still think it's a great song. There's like a little extra measure in there. Like it's a really peculiar song.
One town's very like another when your head's down over your pieces, brother. It's a drag, it's a bore, it's really such a pity to be looking at the bar, not looking at the city. What do you mean? You've seen one crowded, polluted, thinking town, but get tired, you're talking to a tourist whose every move's among the purists. I get my kids above the waistline, sunshine.
Murray Head.
That's so great.
I have that 45.
Me too. It might be an RCA. It's a black label 45 from the musical Chess.
Yeah, I have the picture sleeve on it.
Did you ever see the musical Chest?
No, but I have chest fever.
The band? Yeah. God, I'm really working with an up-on crippled geek here. Sick band burn. God, this show's making me Acadian Drift bored. What's going on? I do love the band. Where are you with the band in your general list? Are they like even top 30? I love the band.
Probably not. No, because I don't even own any. I don't even own Big Pink or whatever. So, yeah, I gave them a shot. I like them all right. There's a certain kind of like American music that sounds to me like it's just very straightforward. So I don't get a lot of surprises.
Little ditty about Jack and Diane.
Like I don't get any surprises in their music, and I think I like music with surprises. I think that's why I kind of dog on like 145 stuff. And I'm not saying the band does 145. I'm just saying, you know, I think I like. That's why I think I like the Beatles and stuff. Like when the Beatles came out, Bob Dylan was floored by their crazy wild chord changes because he was so used to playing G, C, and D or whatever, you know. So it's and band came out of Dylan, and so there's this kind of like it's very America, and I think I got to be in the mood for it. Long answer.
Have you watched The Last Waltz all the way through?
Yeah, that's great.
That was my entry point some years ago.
The Last Waltz is great. That is a great film. It's a great film. I would say, like, I would enjoy it more if they were playing Wings songs. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to, like, that's cool.
Have you heard Robbie Robertson do the note you never wrote? Just making that up.
No, but I heard J. Jonah Jameson chew out Peter Parker for the picture he never took.
Peter Parker picked a pickle. Know what I mean?
Sorry, I went around the block for that one, but
sometimes you gotta double park to get there. I do dibs.
I don't do dibs. Yeah, that's right. We've had this. You're a dibs guy, aren't you?
I'm the worst kind. I'm a dibs guy who grew up with a garage.
You're the problem. No, I happily dig my parking space out and then I release it to the world like a white dove.
White dove sitting on a blackberry bush. Is there any questioning why?
Well, at any rate, we have a lot more episodes coming up. Thank you for buying our records. Thank you for seeing our films. The next one's going to be in color.
Yes, Untitled Beatles Podcast. I'm Tony Mendoza.
I'm TJ Shanoff, and that's what we'll do, Tony. That's what I will turn you on to, the obscure 80s McCartney, like the B-sides for the tug-of-war stuff, like, the B-side to Take It Away is called I'll Give You a Ring. That is classic Jaunty Paul. The B-side to So Bad is called Ode to a Koala Bear, not on the Pipes of Peace album.
It's not on the reissues or anything?
It is on the reissues,
okay,
but it wasn't on the originals. But Paul sings of a koala type bear, which I've never understood. So we'll do a Macca 80s deep dive. We're doing a whole episode on the difference between the single version and the album version of Press to Play's Only Love Remains. And then you'll quit.
No, I do know the differences actually on that. Yeah. Well, if you like what you heard, you gotta like and subscribe. Here, it's imperative. Go right now to your nearest device and find the Untitled Beatles Podcast. And just all you have to do is just touch that little thing that says like. If you've already done that, thank you so much. Feel free to write us a review if you haven't done that yet. You can make it whatever you want. We like the nice ones, but make it real. You know, tell us that we're jagoffs or whatever. That's a very Chicago term. We'll find it endearing.
You jagoff. Do you like or hate my exaggerated Southside Chicago dumb white guy speak?
I love that guy. In fact, when I earlier said white dove, I was going to do my guy going like, why's the dove got to be white?
Why? Let's go. Just like a white winged dove, huh? How come Stevie Nicks was allowed to sing without a man nearby?
Stevie Nicks broke up the blues version of Fleetwood Mac.
The better one. Then Lindsey Buckingham sang Holiday Road with a dog barking.
Yeah. They should have had that dog on the rest of the Fleetwood Mac records.
Emmett Smith couldn't touch Walter Payton. Are we done here?
I think we are done. Put a fork in this Polish with mustard and grilled onions.
Them grilled onions.
Sweet grilled onions with nice yellow mustard on a bun with a pork and beef Polish sausage.
Grilled onions and the mustard, it's a Chicago tradition.
It's perfect.
Untitled Beatles Podcast. Like and subscribe.